Save it.
All right.
So, Ant, start the clip now. Guys, Deshaun Watson had his contract restructured by the Cleveland Browns this morning. They were about $21 million under the cap. Over the cap. This move brings them $13 million under the cap. I think this was relatively expected after the move from the Browns initially restructuring his contract in December. But, Bull, was this a necessary step the Browns had to take to just get their books in order for the start of free agency?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's what they had to do. You can't be over the cap. I mean, you can be during the season because there's ways around it. But when the start of the new league year happens, which is officially it's Wednesday either at noon or 4 p.m. I can't remember.
Wednesday at noon, I believe.
Noon, right. Before Wednesday at noon, you have to be under the cap. And the Browns were $25 million over the cap. So the only way to get under it was to restructure Deshaun Watson's contract. Now, in terms of actual money they're going to pay to Deshaun Watson, every time they do this, nothing changes. He will have every dollar that they guaranteed him by the end of next season, the 26th season. Not next season, but next year, the 26th season. He will be paid. Now, he's going to have a number on their cap through at least 2030. Now, after 2026, it's not as egregious, but he will be on their cap for 4 years. They're not going to cut him until after next year. Because if you cut him even after this season, you have over $100 million dead cap hit in 2026. They're not going to do that. Now, the cap has gone way, way up in the last ever since COVID, a year after COVID, the cap has been flying up.
Yep.
And will continue to do so because the NFL is an absolute monster compared to every other sport. But as you see there, they can't cut him after next year because they would have a $135 million cap hit. In 2027, dead cap hit. 2027, his first year where he won't be here, they're still going to have a $54 million cap hit. But at that point, you could live with that. The cap, it will be high enough where you're going to be like, well, whatever. But that's when they'll finally stop paying him, and that's when they can finally get rid of him. But he will have a number, at least some number, on the cap through 2030 minimum. And they might need to restructure again next year to push it to 2031. It's just cap gymnastics.
It's crazy.
It's the unfortunate result, guys, of what's been maybe the worst deal in the history of football.
Yeah, I mean, at least, what they get. You said they got, $13 million? So maybe they'd be able to get maybe a decent free agent on a 1-year deal or something like that. Maybe only getting one, but, maybe you got to make sure that one is good.
What is the point, though?
Stop. See, we got into it over this last night.
Yeah.
Listen, Joey Bosa got released. I say we should sell the franchise to get him. And I'm being biased. Go Bucks. Yeah. But, and I was just kidding because y'all like to take everything I say seriously. I was just kidding. But anyways, I was explaining to you, you was like, what's the point of stop with the veterans? What's the point of the veterans? And my response to you was, did you not see what Washington did? Like, they literally, Jaden Daniels was exceptional. Yes, he was. But they went and got a Bobby Wagner. They went and got an Austin Eckler. They went and got Zach Ertz. These is 3 guys that maybe they are at the end of their career, but at one point in time, they were a top player in this league.
Okay, you're right, but let me ask you a question. If Washington had not gotten Jaden Daniels, how many more games would Washington have won with those 3 guys? Then
probably not a lot.
None is probably the answer, right? I mean, those guys are fine. And yes, we could always point to Washington. Dustin mentioned it on our podcast this morning. That's lightning in a bottle. Mm-hmm. The odds of that happening, and it's really happened 2 years in a row.
I was going to say Stroud.
Before that, it's so rare for a quarterback to make that kind of impact. But it's happened 2 years in a row with Stroud and Jaden Daniels. No doubt about it. Now, Stroud happened to be in a bad division, and Jaden Daniels in a weaker NFC conference. The Browns don't, again, it doesn't appear there's a quarterback on the level of Jaden Daniels and C.J. Stroud. You never know. But the Browns are also in one of, if not the best division, in the tougher conference. So, and the Browns couldn't afford to sign 3-4 veterans like that anyway. They don't have the money to do it. So, yes, I understand what you thought. If the Browns had a young quarterback, And
well, they probably will.
Right, but if they were on the verge of being like, if I really thought the Browns could be a playoff team this year with a young quarterback, I'd say, yeah, go sign guys like that.
You didn't think that about Washington last year, did you?
Who picked Washington to make the playoffs last year, Mike?
Tyvis, you don't want me to say the answer to this.
Thank you.
What about the Texans?
I was probably the only person.
What about the Texans the year before that?
I don't think I picked Texans the year before that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like
I might have, but I don't remember.
Like I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it is very far fetched. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it's not. I'm not living in a reality where it can't happen. Like there's been examples that we just recently just talked about of teams being able to figure it out, and this team literally did it 2 years ago without a quarterback. Yes, Joe Flacco was decent and did the things he did, but by all no means he wasn't like Jaden Daniels or C.J. Stroud.
I know that.
So like like I say, the biggest difference in last year's team was that the defense didn't have the same performance that they had the year before.
But you can't bank on the anomaly. And the Browns make
you gotta with my job on the line. Yes, I am.
You can't bank on it.
Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah,
if it ain't, I'm getting fired.
You're gonna bank on winning the way the Browns won 2 years ago. It's just not realistic.
I want to keep my job. I'm banking on whatever we got to do to win.
Well, I don't know about banking on it, but I mean that's probably the only hope to keep them, in the mix and bring them back. They don't necessarily have to win, but they have to show progress, and they have to have a quarterback that's showing some development throughout the season next year. And if that happens, I think that certainly buys them some time.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody is out there. I mean, maybe they are, but I don't think that they are saying, "Hey, we're going to be the Washington Commanders this year." Like, we're going to have the next Jaden Daniels. Like, that is so rare. It's only happened once in my lifetime, and it happened this year.
Right. Joey Bosa, by the way, why would he sign with the Browns?
I don't know.
I mean,
it's a nice story.
If they're going to overpay him?
Well, the Browns would have to overpay.
With what money?
Well, they overpay him with money they don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Joey Bosa, I want to go win. I'm not going to win. The Browns not going to win. Even if you think there's just some remote chance the Browns are going to win, you played. You guys both played. You know how other players think. You both have said it, especially you, Tyvis. You've said it because you've been more recently.
Oh, yeah. They don't want to come
Players don't want to go to the Browns.
No.
And there's not a player in the NFL right now that thinks the Browns are going to be a winning football team anytime soon.
No, not one player that signs with the Browns this offseason will be signing for winning.
Yeah.
No, they'll be signing because
money.
The money. Yes, right. 100%. And that
it depends. If you got Cleveland ties, like if you're from the city, like.
But he's not.
No, I'm not saying he. Draymond Jones is though. Go Bucks, by the way. If y'all need a defensive tackle, which we are thin there, Draymond Jones, he would love to come home and play for the Cleveland Browns.
2 days in a row with Draymond Jones.
I'm just saying.
Are you sure he still wants to come home?
Go get Draymond Jones.
Okay, so that's where you want them to spend their $13 million?
Hey, listen, you want to get somebody that want to be here, Like, that's the thing. You want somebody that's going to be here.
Well, Nick Chubb wants to be here, and the Browns don't want him.
Well, that's a whole other story.
Nick Chubb's one of the few players that actually wants to play for the Browns.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And he's cost himself money.
It's all he knows. It's all he knows. And the city embraces him. So
it's all Myles Garrett knows. He don't want to play here.
Yeah, well. The city don't embrace him as much.
Oh, please. Come on. What do you got, Mike?
I'll say, any final thoughts on DW4 before we head on to some Cavs stuff? We're going to talk Browns later in the show, but Cavs have won 12 straight. You guys good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, that whole conversation had really nothing to do with Deshaun Watson.
But it was open up cap space. They restructured. We had to touch on it. We did.
I don't mean to be mean, but he's just all he is cap money now. That's all we think of him as.
He's just a number. He's
just a number.
He's not going to play for the Browns.
No. The only thing that matters with Deshaun Watson is how much he's hurting the Browns with the cap.
And with that, we'll move on and